So this story begins in where Toy Story 3 ended, which is the toys have been given to Bonnie from Andy, and we start right there.
There's only one reason to make a movie, and that's if you have something to say or if you have somewhere to take the characters. When we started thinking about this idea, I know it was Andrew Stanton who kind of first pitched this idea of there's more for Woody, right? That there's more to tell here. Academically, what Andrew had pitched was something along the lines of Toy Story 3, because it had a great ending, and a lot of people said, oh, that's the ending. I mean, even my parents were like, that's the ending. And Andrew's kind of answer to that was, no, that's the ending of Andy's story. You know, Andy he's not the protagonist. He's sort of the external plot. And that was a great ending for him, but Woody, he landed on his feet certainly, and it was a beautiful kind of piece of storytelling, but it's not the ending. And just that foot in the door of what if you could take Woody and show him in a new world, show him with a different challenge.
The relationship, and the relationship specifically between Woody and Buzz, is core to the Toy Story films. It's set up early on in the first Toy Story. They build over the years and through the films to trust each other, to understand each other, to support each other. It's such a critical relationship in this series. And in Toy Story 4, we take that relationship even deeper between Buzz and Woody. Buzz is there at the beginning, really compassionate to Woody's new situation in Bonnie's room. He wants to help him in any way that he can when he sees that he's struggling, whether it's being relegated to the closet, or whether it's being stepped on by Dad, or having a handful of Forky to be able to deal with. Buzz is compassionate to him, and we see an exchange between Buzz and Woody in the RV on this road trip, where Woody tries to explain the inner voice that Buzz has inside him, and how he just really needs to listen to that, and that it's important for Woody to listen to the voice that's inside him.
I was, as a first-time director, pretty intimidated to work with Tom Hanks. How can you not be? When I pitched him the film, I got to about the scene where Woody is in the backpack and he helps get the supplies in front of Bonnie, so she's building Forky. And he went, okay, you got me, all right. And that's when all of a sudden I could relax, because okay, Tom's in, I got him excited about it, and I could see he was invested. He's Woody. He's been Woody for almost 30 years now or something like that. So he knows the character so well. He knows the world so well. It was a joy working with him. He almost directs himself because everything he gives you is gold. It becomes an embarrassment of riches. It's like, what take do I not use? So it was so much fun working with him. Absolutely loved it. Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. He just is. And he comes into a room and it feels like Buzz Lightyear has just walked into the room. Tim has been doing Buzz for 30 years as well, and he and Tom both know what feels right for these characters, and that's something that I relied on that heavily. If they ever felt like, this doesn't quite feel right, I go, well, let's stop and let's talk about it and let's get there. So it was so much fun working with both of them.
So Josh Cooley is the director of Toy Story 4, and I have had the pleasure of working with Josh for his entire 15 years at the studio. I was his first manager when he came into the story department on the first Cars, and it's been awesome to see Josh kind of rise up through the ranks of story, becoming a head of story. Most recently, I got to work with Josh on Inside Out. Jonas, Josh, and I were all together on that project. Josh was one of the writers and also the head of story. So when I heard Josh was going to be the co-director on this film in the beginning, and ultimately the director, I leapt at the chance of being able to partner with Josh Cooley. He's one of the funniest guys I know, and he brings so much heart and humor into this story. Like Jonas and I, Josh loves the Toy Story characters and understands that they are part of the fabric of this place. And it was clear from the get-go that Josh was going to pour everything he had into making sure this film was the greatest thing it could be.
Josh is effortlessly funny. He's got great sense of story and character. He's a great writer. I mean, he crafted some of the great scenes in the film Up. I worked on that film. And he was the head of story on Inside Out. And then he directed Riley's First Date. So he's had this kind of natural progression of coming up under some of our big directors and heads of stories and writers and so forth. And so plugging into Toy Story, which he cares deeply about, made perfect sense. He loves these characters. And I also think he loves them, but was also not afraid to take it somewhere new. And that was, from day one, what was important to us, that we wanted to honor Toy Story, but give it a little bit of a different flavor, a little bit of a shift, you know what I mean, a little bit of its own lane. And so Josh was instrumental in creating that.